Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Nightly Sports Call.
All right, Ken, thanks very much. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Allegheny Health Network Nightly Sports Call, where you make the call nightly. As the show says, it's 412-575-2600. You can also tweet us. The numbers there are at KD Pomp and at Gene Collier. And tonight, the Pirates, this could be the final spasm of a dying man if they should somehow come back and win. Gene Collier is here in studio, and Gene, the Pirates are kicking the ball around. I have one question overriding every other question, and that is why.
Every other question.
Well, I have a lot of questions. The one that stands out to me is Josh Harrison sitting on the bench. Why?
I have no idea. Is he tired?
He didn't start. He didn't play. You have a left-hand pitcher, Mike Montgomery. They loaded an all right-hand hitting lineup, and it's Sean Rodriguez who plays in favor of him.
I don't know. I didn't see the the matchups, so I have no earthly explanation for that. Sean Rodriguez is not having one of his better defensive games.
No.
And generally the Pirates are throwing it around like a high school team. Other than that, though, I like their performance through 7.5.
As one tweeter says, you have a couple of 190 hitters throwing the ball over the infield, Chris Stewart and Sean Rodriguez. And then Charlotte Krieger on Twitter says the manager decides who's on the field, so the real question needs to be, why is Hurdle still the manager of this team? And, you know, there could be just a month or so left in his career as a Pirate. And the question, Gene, would be, whose choice will it be, his or theirs? Or mutual?
All I know on that is that the Pirates said that they'll be announcing well in advance of when they have to, which I think is the second week of the World Series or second week of November, what the future of Clint Hurdle and or Neil Huntington will be. I'm speculating, 100% speculating that one of them will not be back. Which one, I don't know.
What's your guess? What do you think?
I think Huntington will be back.
I do too. But regardless who's back, you have to ask the question, can you even compete if you're not going to raise your payroll to a point where at least you can go out and get some viable options here? This team for 2 years has really added on nothing. They had a chance, and they said pretty much in direct terms, if we get the attendance at PNC Park, we will elevate our payroll. Well, when it was a 98-win season, that attendance went up. The next year carried over, and nothing much happened in that other. I think the question needs to be, how much are you willing to spend? And if you're not going to spend, next year, what do you think the average attendance will be for a game? Because it's been down 3 years in a row now.
Yeah, they might end up at just under 20,000 a game. If they don't, it'll be just over 20,000 a game, and that's a serious drop 2 years in a row. As I wrote on Sunday and went on and on about it, Bob, the Pirates are caught between, the basic inequities of the local TV money in baseball and the forbidden depths of the nutting portfolio. They're essentially screwed.
That was a good call, by the way. And
thank you.
It's just a blatant case of haves and have-nots, and how do you compete in this situation?
The only way to compete is if you're willing to spend the money, if you have an owner who's willing to spend the money.
You have to.
And they do not.
And they do not. And he's not going to sell the team because he's making a profit every year. So this thing may continue to play out the way it has. All right, some NFL news just coming down. A couple of media guys, Adam Schefter and Rappaport, Ian Rappaport, report that Matt Stafford is going to be the highest paid player in NFL history.
Oh, new contract for him. Huh?
New contract. Derek Carr, what did he get, $25 million a year?
Yep.
That was the last time we saw somebody get a ridiculous sum of money. And listen, I don't deny anyone an opportunity to make this kind of money. And I know how difficult it is to survive without good quality quarterbacks, just as Cleveland, which has now decided to go on its 27th new starting quarterback in Deshaun Kaiser when the Steelers go there since 1999. So it's tough to do. Josh McCown named the starting quarterback for the Jets because Christian Hackenberg can't play. It's hard to find these guys. So I understand when you get them, you want to give them what they do. However, what has Stafford done? What has Carr done in terms of postseason success on a consistent basis? And is that the barometer, or do you just go by stats?
I don't know. I mean, there's not enough around Stafford to make that kind of investment. You have to make investments in the quarterback. I understand that, as you pointed out, Bob, but there's not enough around him there to make that kind of investment, in my view.
One other note today, and we're talking about Vontaze Burfict, who was handed down a 5-game suspension. What else is new? For a dirty hit. The Bengals somehow, and Marvin Lewis say it was legal, Gene. I don't know if you saw it on the Kansas City receiver who was out of the backfield. Yeah. He was not the intended pass receiver. He wasn't really even in the play, and he gets picked off defenselessly. He had no idea it was coming. It was dirty. It was typical Vontaze Burfict, and yet the Bengals continue to side with him.
Vontaze Burfict has no interest on the field other than to hurt somebody. He wants somebody to be hurt. He doesn't care whether he wins or loses, gets a fine, doesn't get a fine. This was going to cost him like $800,000 this year, but for some reason it's worth it to him if he hurts somebody. That's a player who should be out of the league.
Ironically, he is hurting his team in the process. We're going to take a break and open the lines. It's 412-2600. Get on the lines. Let us know what you think. Call us here on the Allegheny Health Network Nightly Sports Call on Pittsburgh CW.